this with the younger me. And all of the mistakes, all of the heartbreak, here's what I do differently. I fight for the weak ones, speak out for freedom, live a life for another, take time for a brother, love like I'm not scared, give when it's not fair, find faith in the battle, stand tall with a broken heart, and I'll fix my talk the talk, 'cause the road less traveled is hard to walk. And it takes a soldier who knows his orders to walk the walk I'm supposed to walk. Fight for the weak ones, speak out for freedom, live a life for another, take time for a brother, love like a give when it's not fair, find faith in the battle, stand tall with a broken heart, and I'll fix my
Well, good evening, Shreveport. How are you tonight? We are honored to be with you. We are for King and Country, and I think it's a fine, fine life, so we should celebrate. What do you say? Here we go.
Love is on the side of the highway, with the storm in the sky, warriors flying in the fast lane, in the suit and tie. The sun is crashing in the ocean, but you just can't help yourself. We wonder how we all fall.
Here we go. It's a fine, fine life. 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 Yeah. I fell asleep in Louisiana. You should have seen her face. Yeah, it feels like I'm stuck in a movie that was never made. But Jesus stranded with a flat tire, and he's grinning ear to ear and whispering these words under his breath. It's a fine, fine life. It's a fine, fine life. Yeah. It's a fine, fine life. It's a fine, fine life. It's a fine, fine life. anybody in this building to throw your hands in the air and leave them there. Ready, set, go. And do this. Excellent. Keep it going. So put a step in your bones. You're never alone. Ooh. Cash or gold, heart or soul. Ooh. Now repeat this after us. Yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. All right. Yeah, 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 yeah. Everybody, yeah, yeah, yeah. It's a fine, fine life. 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 Give yourselves a hand, yeah. 1, 2, 3. The sunset stole the light, they're colored in your eyes, and everything in sight was lost in silhouette. You're lost in silhouette. Light it up and let it go. Don't you see that you are not alone? Light it up and watch it fly, 'cause you could go anywhere you want tonight. Light it up. Light it up. I could wear the weight, take it all away, but every creature's fate is theirs and theirs alone. It's yours and yours alone. So light it up and let it go. Don't you see that you are not alone? Just light it up and watch it fly, 'cause you can go anywhere you want tonight. So light it up, light it up, light it up, light it up, light it up and watch it fly, 'cause you can be anything you want tonight. Yes, it could be a beautiful morning. Yes, it could be a beautiful morning. Oh. So Luke and I have a good friend who struggled with depression. There was a time where he would slip blankets over the windows and switch off the lights and literally live in darkness. We wrote this song for him. I remember when it came time to play it for him for the first time, we didn't have the heart to tell him that we'd written it for him because, well, we were afraid of offending him. So we didn't. Needless to say, it was his favorite song that we'd ever written. When months went by and eventually we thought, you know what, the secret's gonna get out, we gotta tell him. So we pulled him aside one day and we said, hey, we want you to know we wrote this song for you. And he didn't say much. He stood up, he walked out of the room, he got in his car and he drove off. And we thought, oh no, we've blown it. About 10 minutes later, he called us and with tears in his voice, he said, thank you for writing that song for me, it gives me hope. It was in that moment that we realized that music has power, doesn't it? It does. But when you merge the power of music with the ultimate power of the gospel, it not only has the ability to impact our day, but it can transform people's lives for eternity. Do you believe it? Everything you never said, and all the things you thought instead, and everyone you never knew, and everywhere you're going to, and every song you want to sing, every smile's a gift. It's yours, and yours, it's yours. Yes, it's yours. Don't you see that you are not alone? Just light it up and watch it fly. 'Cause you can go anywhere you want tonight. Yeah, light it up and let it go. Don't you see that you are not alone? Just light it up and watch it fly. 'Cause you can be anything you want tonight. It could be a beautiful morning. Yes, it could be a beautiful morning. It could be a beautiful morning. Oh, 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 oh. Well, good evening to you. Hello. I must say we are so thrilled to be with you tonight, but no one is more happy than this fella right here, that bloke right there, and this fella right there, because they, my dear friends, are from the great state of Louisiana. And this is kind of a homecoming of sorts for them, so we are thrilled. We were in the studio a few years ago working on this record, and in a providential moment, we came up with a name for King and Country. And for those of you who don't know, that phrase, those 4 words, derive from an old English battle cry as soldiers were going to stand for something greater than themselves, to bleed for what they believed. Their chant was for King and Country, for King and Country. And we thought as young men and as musicians, what better name to be known by than for our King and for our country. If hope is what you're after, I can take it and turn it into rain. And tears will become laughter. Yeah, I will catch them and turn them back again. Yes, I will catch them and twist them back again. 'Cause when you're upside down, then you'll see it all. But you spend all your time pushing on a full door. You made a plan. You think you're in control. Yeah, you're flying, but you are way too high to fall. And hey man, you step around the corner, because it's coming. Here's your wake up call. How many of you are excited that Christmas is almost here again? Yeah, I was walking through Macy's the other day and I turned around and found myself in a very wooded area with a lot of Christmas ornaments, and I was just shocked. Like, it feels like Christmas is going to keep creeping up till it's like June. All of a sudden we're going to turn around, there's going to be Christmas trees everywhere all of a sudden. But the way I see it, I reckon if there was one time of year, one occasion that we should celebrate all year round, it would be the birth of that baby boy. Don't you reckon? Yeah. So we're going to play you a bit of a Christmas song, if you don't mind. So grab your hot chocolate and your eggnog. And I got my sleigh bells. This is Baby Boy.
I told you all about your sorrows. I'll tell you about a cure. If you told me you can't fight the battle, there's a baby boy who won the war. The war was won by a baby boy. Hallelujah, we can sing it. Hallelujah, heaven's ringing. Hallelujah. Never so relentless joy started with the baby boy. Before that silent night, no Savior and no Jesus Christ. The world cried out so desperately. The baby boy was the reply. His heaven's reply was a baby boy. Hallelujah, we can sing it. Joy started with the baby boy. Say the king is coming down, and he's here without a crown. The baby boy without a bed, giving life back to the dead. Hear the angels shout it out. People coming down, unexpected majesty. Hallelujah, what a king. Hallelujah, we can sing it. And hallelujah, heaven's ringing. Hallelujah. Never so relentless joy. You know, really shout it out. Well, I'd be very remiss if I did not introduce you to the classy fellows up here on stage, starting with a bloke all the way from Memphis, Tennessee. Ladies and gentlemen, on drums, the Duke right here. And over to my right, your left, a man who has a band in his own right,
And once again, all the way from Ruston, Louisiana. One more time for Mr. Bacchus right here, folks, yes? And directly opposing him from a neighboring country of Texas, ladies and gentlemen, Blake Kanika right here. And once again, the chap who has his mother here tonight, his grandmother-in-law, and mother-in-law, so he's on his very best behavior. Don't worry about that. Ladies and gentlemen, again, all the way from Ruston, Louisiana, Stephen Lynch right here. And again, it is a homecoming for the fourth Jonas brother here as well. His mother and his brother are here, and he is a great fellow. In fact, a little side note, I used to do this little obnoxious thing during our set where I would auction Mark off to the single ladies. Yeah, just really wanting him to find love, you know. And once upon a time, a little over a year ago now, right, he actually met a lovely girl after a show, and they dated, and now they're engaged, and I take full credit for it. Yes.
And he is also the longest standing member of the band as well.
It is, that is true. Also from Ruston, Louisiana, Mark Campbell, the dashing. I'm just going to go as far as to say, you know, it seems like this Ruston, Louisiana thing is a really good thing.
You're sounding like a broken record,
I know.
actually.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're from Ruston, Louisiana as well. Not really. I don't know if you could tell. But there's a bit of a sobering moment for us a few months ago. My little brother Luke here had to come off the road due to an illness for about 2.5 months. He was not with us. And it was a challenging time for us all, but I have to say, and I want to say to each of you guys up here on stage officially, particularly because it's kind of your homecoming, guys, the way that you have partnered and the way that you have stepped up and the way that you have loved on Luke and just bought into For King Country has been so profound and meaningful to us. And I couldn't have done it without you. Luke makes up such a huge part of this band, and these guys stepped in his stead. So, last but not least, ladies and gentlemen, would you give a big hand to my little brother Luke, who is back?
And would you guys give it up for my older, yet shorter brother? Give it up for Joel here, guys.
Thank you kindly. So, the young lady that stood up here just earlier, Mariah Peters, I actually married her 91 days ago. True story. Yes. And Luke is married to a lovely girl named Courtney. They've been married for a little over 3 years. In fact, I met my now wife at Luke's wedding. She was a bit of a wedding crasher. And a true story as well. And Luke has a 9-month-old son, a porker of a child, named Jude James, who has been fed very well, I must say. And most of the guys up here are either married or engaged, like I mentioned. And so family and relationships is something that is very important to us up here. And one of the things that we share at every opportunity we can, if you were here this morning, we shared it as well, and that is this. First of all, to you ladies here tonight, girls, don't ever settle for second best, and don't let any man disrespect you in relationships. Yeah. So often it seems as though culture and society suggests for women to talk or dress or act or think or feel like they're cheap, like they're worth nothing more than a penny. But we believe there's a God that says you're priceless. We believe it with everything in us. And we wear these necklaces and They're in the shape and color of a 1-cent coin, and they have the word priceless stapled into them. They stand as a reminder to us that you girls are worth more than all the money in the world. And we wear these bracelets as well that say respect and honor on them. And we've got them both available here this evening. I encourage you to pick one of them up. We've seen thousands of guys and girls rally behind this cause. As girls saying, I know what I'm worth and what I'm not worth. I know that I deserve to be treated like a princess because I am one. And as men saying, hey, count me in. I'll step up. I'll stand out. We'll start with me. Chivalry is not dead. I will treat these ladies as they deserve to be treated, with respect and with honor. I know there might be some of you here today and you hang your head. And if we had an honest discussion, you'd say, mate, I'm not that guy anymore. I'm not that girl anymore. Well, the way we see it, there was a man who walked the earth 2,000 years ago, and he did something that no one has ever done in the history of the world. He offered us redemption, a second chance, a fresh start, freedom. And so if that's you tonight, I encourage you, when you leave, to hold your head up high and say, I will become the man that I was created to be. I will become the woman that I was designed to be. But to all those with a busted heart, to all those who've made mistakes in relationships, this song's for you.
Once has come back again, feels like the season won't end. My faith is tired tonight, and I won't try to pretend I've got it all figured out, that I don't have any doubts. I've got a busted heart, I need you now. Yes, I need you now.
If you guys know it, we want to hear you shout it.
Hold on to me. Hold on to me. Don't let me lose my way. Hold on to me. And I am the one's a reason enough is never enough. I keep chasing the wind instead of chasing your love. I'm screaming out your name, don't let me fall on my face. I've got a busted heart, I'm in need of a change. Whoa, yeah, I'm desperate for grace. Oh, shout it out, shout it out. Hold on to me. Hold on to me. Hold on to me. Don't let me lose my way. Hold on to me.
Broke your heart 1,000 times, but you've never left my side. You have always been here for me and for the great state of Louisiana. He'll never let you go. No, he won't. He'll never let you go. Don't ever let me go. Shout it out. Hold on to me. Hold on to me. Don't let me lose my way. Hold on to me. One last time with all you got in here. Hold on to me. Hold on to me. Don't let me lose my way. Hold on to me. Once has come back again, soon the season will end. I'll surrender tonight. You meet me right where I am.
thank you guys very much. You may take a seat. I tell you what, not only because we have so many people from Louisiana, it's a real privilege to be here with you guys. We were able to, for many of you probably were here this morning, to be a part of your church service this morning. And I tell you what, I'm not just saying this, it was a real special day for us, one that we'll remember for a long time. We go to a lot of churches, and this is a special one. So thank you very much for having us here. The next thing I want to share with you guys about is probably the most significant thing that we'll talk about from the platform tonight, and that is we've been a part of a ministry called Compassion International for a number of years, but before I go too much further into that, I want to share with you just a little bit about my story. I was originally born in Australia. Hopefully you can still tell. My accent has been compromised by you Americans. But was originally born in Australia, and my dad was actually a Christian concert promoter back there, and on one particular tour, he lost absolutely everything that he had and that we had, and he got a job opportunity in Nashville, Tennessee, and was kind of looking for a fresh start, and thought that it would be a good idea to move his 6 kids and his wife, who was 6 months pregnant at the time, to America, to Nashville, and that's exactly what we did. But once we got to Nashville, about 6 weeks after, my dad actually lost his job. And as you can imagine, 6 kids, baby on the way, no money. We were actually sleeping on beds made out of clothes, didn't have a car, didn't have any furniture in the house, which is actually a lot of fun for kids, by the way. We just didn't know where to turn other than just to cry out to God and just ask Him for the absolute essential things like a car, food, and a place for my little sister to be born in a hospital. And we just got to see incredible miracles take place. We had a family give us a car, their brand new car, the very first day that they met us. We still to this day don't know who paid for my little sister to be born in a hospital. And we'd have people that would just show up at our doorstep with grocery bags full of groceries and just dump them at our doorstep. And just got to see incredible miracles take place. And what I realized through that experience as a young boy is that the moment that we stop giving to each other, giving to our friends, giving to our families, and most of all, giving to the poor, our souls go dark. And some of you might be thinking, well, what does this have to do with Compassion International? Well, Compassion International is a child sponsorship program that specializes in reversing the cycle of poverty in third world countries. It believes that by going into these countries and pouring into the youth, that they'll be able to raise up the next Mother Teresa's, the next Billy Grahams, the next leaders of these countries. I heard a pretty cool story just the other day about a young boy who was born into the slums. And this little boy had aspirations of education in his life, but as you can imagine, he loved books. As you can imagine, in the slums, you don't really have much of an opportunity for schooling. All you're really trying to do is just survive and get to the next meal. But this little boy got accepted into a Compassion International program, and this boy actually grew up and graduated with the equivalent of a high school diploma, and then got accepted into the Moody Bible Institute in Chicago, and graduated there with his master's, and is now a pastor in Africa, and he's going all over Africa, and he's planting churches. And the most interesting thing about this story is that there was a lady, a young lady who saw a child pack, and it was Richmond. It was this little boy, many years ago now, and picked up this pack and felt that God was saying, hey, you know what, I need to sponsor this child. And the most remarkable thing about this story is this little girl was 15 years old. And it challenges me every time that I speak about it, because what that story tells me is that we all have an opportunity to do something significant tonight. So for some of you, we're going to have some Compassion International volunteers come down the aisles in just a minute, and they're going to be holding these things called child packs. And I wanted to just share with you a little bit about this child that I have in my hand. And this is little Sophie. And Sophie is born in Africa, lives in Africa. And in the back of these little packs, it has a little bit more about their story in the back here. And it says, Sophie makes her home with her aunt. Caring for children or running errands are her household duties. Her aunt maintains the home, and there are 4 children in the family. So usually, actually speaking here, usually they live with either a mother or a father or both. And usually it actually says that they're somewhat employed. And it doesn't even say that this aunt that she lives with is even employed. So as you can imagine, an intense need here for little Sophie. And so some of you might be thinking, man, I love the idea of Compassion International. I'd love to be able to sponsor a child, but I just can't afford it. And here's what I'd say to you. If you get together with just 2 friends tonight, it'd be about $12 a month. And you have a little child's life like Sophie changed forever. It's just a little bit over $1 a day. Maybe tonight you came as a youth group. Sponsor a child as a youth group and take up an offering once a month and you have a child's life changed forever. Maybe it's a small group or an accountability group, whatever it is. Sponsor a child. Probably the most significant way that I've seen child sponsorship take place is through families. When I was a little boy, my parents sponsored a child and they put the picture of the child up on the refrigerator. And every time I would go get food, I'd go get milk, I'd go get orange juice, I was reminded of the fact that there were other children in this world that didn't have things that I had. They didn't have just the ability to go to a refrigerator and open up and have food and water and whatever else was in there. And I think for this day and age, this generation, it's important to know that there are other people that are less fortunate, but that we can make a difference. We can mow lawns even as kids. We can go rake leaves. We can help clean the house, and we can put that money towards sponsoring a child. So tonight, if you did want to sponsor a child, what you would do is you'd take out this blue form in the back, and you would turn it into the Compassion International table. It's just out the back. And we're doing something pretty special tonight, and that is if you sponsor a child tonight and pay for your first month, we want to give you a free CD of ours. It's just as a way to give back to you guys and just say, hey, we want to give to you as you give to these kids, because this is probably, as I said before, the most significant thing that we talk about from the platform. So if you fill out the blue form, pay for your first month, turn it into the Compassion International table. It's just in the lobby next to the merchandise tables, and you'll get a free CD. Oftentimes, people ask me, why do you take time out of your show to share about Compassion International? And this is what I say. Under very, very different circumstances, I was much like one of these children when I came to America. And if it wasn't for people like yourselves who gave to me and my family, I wouldn't be sitting up here on this stage. And the other thing that I say is, I will never, ever grow tired of advocating for children who are in desperate need of food, desperate need of clothing and education, and most of all, who are in desperate need of Jesus Christ in their life. So, yeah. So right now, all across the room, we've got some Compassion International volunteers coming down the aisles. If you wanted to sponsor a child, or you just wanted to read up about one of these children or whatever, just raise your hand really, really high. We've got Compassion International volunteers coming down, and just raise your hand really, really high. Maybe it's one of those things that you want to sponsor a child as a family. Maybe it's that you want to sponsor a child as a youth group. Maybe it's mother-daughter, father-son, one of those types of things. And as I said, if you fill out the blue form, and you pay for your first month tonight, and you turn it into the Compassion International table, we're going to give you a free CD of ours. This is fantastic. Just keep your hands up really, really high. And you're not committing to anything. You're just saying, hey, I just want to check out the child pack here. That's fantastic. Just keep your hands really, really high. All right. Well, I just want to say thank you guys so much for hearing my heart on this. It's a privilege to be here with you, and we're going to break for an intermission, 10-minute intermission in just a couple moments. I think we've got some more announcements, and we're going to be back with more music in just a bit. So thank you guys for hearing my heart on this, and we'll be back soon.
All right. Have you had a good time so far, huh? Hey, let me tell you something. These guys are as real as it gets, and I'm telling you, man, I got to hang out with Luke a little bit earlier today, and one of the things he said, particularly on this compassion issue, is possibly one of the greatest things that will be said about them their entire life is the lives that they were to change, they were able to help change through compassion. I don't know if you guys know this or not, but Rebecca St. James, that is, again, their older sister. No, I'm just kidding. You know how it is. This is Rebecca James. They're all in the family. And we talked about, again, just how many lives she was able to impact through compassion. And you have that chance again tonight. So they're going to give you a little bit of an intermission. You can go out and look at the product. You can go out and talk to Compassion. It's going to be about a 10-minute intermission, and there is some concessions available as well. But I've got to announce the winner. Does anybody want to know the winner for tonight's thing, right? All right, here she is. It's a lady, Mackenzie Williams, you have won. You have won the prize pack. Go back for the King and Country table. Make sure you tell them that you are the winner, and they have a hoodie, a CD, and a necklace for you, all right? We'll be back in just a couple of minutes. Thanks for being here again tonight. Don't miss the end of this. It's going to be special. See you in a minute. Here we go.
And this is where it begins. And this is where all the worry ends. And this is where I say I don't need to have control. All right, here we go. This is where I admit, yeah, I don't know how to handle it. Life in all of its chaos, you're my only hope. All that I have to offer is the white flag of surrender. So take me to the middle of your heart. Lead me to wherever your love starts. To a new day dawn and to the place you are. And if you wanna take me over the edge, I'll let you, 'cause your love is where I'm at. Wanna be right where you are. This is what I believe, that if I give you my everything, that I will become who I was really born to be. Yeah, I'll stand up and say yes. Yeah, you know there's something I can put my faith in. So take me to the middle of your heart. Lead me to wherever your love starts. To a new day dawn and to the place you are. And if you wanna take me over the edge, I'll let you, 'cause your love is where I'm at. Wanna be right where you are. Repeat this after us, people. Sing. Oh, 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 oh. You sing. Give it to us louder. Sing. Oh, oh, oh. One last time at the top of your lungs. Shout. I carry it, when I carry it, and now I can let it go. Yeah, I carry it, when I carry it, and now I can let it go. Yeah, I can let it go. So take me to the middle of your heart. Lead me to wherever your love starts. To a new day dawn and to the place you are. And if you wanna take me over the edge, I'll let you, 'cause your love is where I'm at. Wanna be right where you are. In the middle of your the middle of your heart, yeah.
Mind if we give you a bit of an acoustic version? Is that all right? In fact, before we do that, how many of you like singing songs to God? Yeah? Well, you might be familiar with this one. This is a song that is very well known and a song that has meant a lot to us as a group. So, let's let go and leave yesterday and tomorrow where they are. Let's sing this to our King. Higher than the mountains that I face. Higher than the mountains that I face. Stronger than the power of the grave. Constant in the trials and the change. One thing remains. Yeah, one thing remains. Sing it out. Your love never fails, never gives up, never runs out on me. Your love never fails, never gives up, never runs out on me. Sing. Your love never fails. Your love. And on and on and on and on it goes. It overwhelms and satisfies my soul. And I'll never ever have to be afraid. 'Cause there's one thing remains. Yeah, there's one thing remains. Sing it out, your love. Your love never fails, never gives up, never runs out on me. Your love never fails, never gives up, never runs out on me. Your love never fails, never gives up, never runs out on me. Your love, your love. Singing death and in life. In death, in life, I'm confident in coming by the power of your great love. My debt is paid. My debt is paid. There's nothing that can separate my heart from your great love. Your love never fails. Your love never fails, never gives up, never runs out on me. Your love never fails, never gives up, never runs out on me. Your love never fails, never gives up, never runs out on me. Your love, sing it again, your love. Your love never fails, never gives up, never runs out on me. Your love never fails, never gives up, never runs out on me. Your love never fails, never gives up, never runs out on me. Your love, death and in life, in death, in life, I'm of your great love. My debt is paid. My debt is paid. There's nothing from your great love. My heart from your great love. My heart from your great love. Yeah. Wanna tell you I'm alright. Wanna say I'm not in pain. But I would just be telling lies. I'm not okay. Not okay. Wanna travel back in time. say the things I didn't say. Oh, I wanna tell you everything. If it's not too late, is it too late? Will you be there if I call? Will you leave me in the rain? If I say it's all my fault, will you still walk away? I understand if you're afraid, but people change. People change. Stay awake and talk to me. Let me hold you while you sleep. 'Cause I've been out here on my own. 'Cause you're my home. You're my home. Will you be there if I call? Will you leave me in the rain? And if I say it's all my fault, will you still walk away? I understand if you're afraid, but people change. People change. And I'm not gonna let you down this time. Darling, don't be afraid. People change. And I can change. Will you be there if I call? Will you leave me in the rain? And if I say it's all my fault, will you still walk away? I understand if you're afraid, but people change. People change. People change. People change. Wanna tell you I'm alright. Wanna say I'm not in pain. loved and loved, and how we fought each other, pushing one another to be somebody. Time and time I've wrestled my thoughts, uncertain if the end was right or wrong, and whether we still should be together or we're somebody else. Our lost memory, she had water in her eyes, she cried, stay with me. How can this be love if you're leaving me? But darling, love's to blame, and I can't see you right now, 'cause I just can't take it, can't be near you right now, 'cause I know you're no longer mine, and I can't see you. It makes me ache that we had to break, but even though I knew your heart so well, we're strangers in different places, though we live a mile apart. Oh, my best friend's gone, my world has been torn. We'll never share a name, never be one, but I will always remember the years we spent in love. I still think of you, I pray that you are safe, I'm still missing you, but it has to be this way 'cause I'm not right for you. That's why love's to blame, yeah. And I can't see you right now, 'cause I just can't take it, can't be near you right now, 'cause I know you're no longer mine. And I can't see you right now, 'cause I just can't fake it, can't be near you right now, 'cause I know you're no longer mine. And I can't see you, no, I can't see you, I just can't see you right now, yeah. Maybe time will heal our hearts, maybe after time you'll understand. And I said goodbye, but I love you. And I can't see you right now, 'cause I just can't take it, can't be near you right now, 'cause I know you're no longer mine. And I can't see you right now, 'cause my heart just can't fake it, can't be near you right now, 'cause I know you're no longer mine. And I can't see you, no, I can't see you, I just can't see you right now, yeah. No, I can't see you, no, I can't see you, I just can't see you right now. Love's to blame.
Well, thank you guys very much. Well, this next song that we're going to do for you is a song that's pretty close to my heart. Joel mentioned a little bit earlier that I was sick, pretty sick there for a while, and had to come off the road. And on one particular night, I was at my house. I was probably bedridden for about 3 weeks, and I had a digestive disorder and got down to 125 pounds, and it was just a real ugly time for me in my life and in my wife and my son's life. It was very difficult. And on one particular night, I was struggling quite a bit, and kind of was crying out to God, asking a little bit of the, why is this happening, and asking for comfort. And I learned something in that moment. I felt God say something to me, and that was this: that no matter how dark the things that we may face are, no matter how difficult the trials might become. No matter what we face in life, that there is always hope. And tonight, I sing this song quite differently. This is a song called Hope is What We Crave.
Hope sleeps without me. Sweet dreams surround me, but I'm left out. I need a reason to believe, to feel. And these rooms are dark now, and these halls are hollow, and so am I. And it's hard to find now, to believe, to feel. And hope is what we crave, and that will never change. So I stand in faith. I need a drop of grace to carry me today, a simple song to sing. It's written on my soul. Hope's what we crave. I won't turn to dust now. Let these tears rust now on my face and give me a spark now to believe, to see. Hope is what we crave, and that will never change. So I stand in faith. I need a drop of grace to carry me today, a simple song to sing. It's written on my soul. Hope's what we crave. To live, to die, to lose, to care, to rise above, to love again, to live, to die, to lose, to care, to rise above, to love again, to love again. Hope is what we crave, and that will never change. So it stands in faith. I need a drop of grace to carry me today, a simple song to stay. Hope is what we crave. I need a drop of grace. It's written on my soul. Hope's what He gave. And hope's what He gave.
So you guys are pretty familiar with accents around here, right? Well, as we mentioned earlier, we're from the land down under. We're from Sydney, Australia. Hope you can still tell. And we realized shortly after moving to America, namely Nashville, Tennessee, that if there was one spot where the accents didn't mesh, it would be Australian accents and Tennessean accents. For whatever reason, it was just always really hard, and still is at points, to understand one another. The worst moments were naturally when you were going through a fast food drive-through. I don't know. There's something about when you can't see the person or read their lips or something, they just couldn't understand. So it would always go like this. My father would order when we were youngsters and we'd first gotten to America. So he would, he'd pull the van up, and there's 7 of us kids, mind you. So there's a lot going on here. So he'd pull up and he'd be like, yeah, mate, can I get, 9 burgers and some fries, please? Excuse me, sir? Yeah, can I get, 9 burgers and some fries, please? Sir, I can't understand a word you're saying. You're going to have to pull around to the window. So, he pulls around to the, Dad always hated ordering at fast food restaurants. He pulls around to the window, and they sort of, through sign language and that sort of thing, manage to convey the order. The order comes out, and it's all wrong, but nonetheless, you just sort of resign to the fact that you're about to leave. And the guy kind of peeks out the window, and he says, hey, man, hey, what country y'all from? And Dad says, oh, yeah, we're from Australia. And he goes, oh, man, I always wanted to go there. Hey, what language y'all speak down there? And Dad just sort of smiles and waves and drives away, But we love the South. We love Nashville, Tennessee. We've lived there for a fair while now. I actually live in a smaller town just south of Nashville called Franklin, Tennessee. A wonderful, wonderful spot, very historic. And in this kind of downtown area, there's this deli. And Luke and I found ourselves there just a few months ago. We were singing as part of an evening celebration for a man's life who was losing in a battle to cancer. Very profound moment. People had flown in from all over the country, friends and family, to be there for this evening. We sung our song, and we had every intention of just basically leaving right afterwards, but we were so struck by the moment that we stayed. We sat in, listened to these people tell stories about this man's life in his presence. What struck me was, here's a man who's at the end of his days, short of miraculous intervention. They weren't stories about his yearly earnings or his accolades, the car he drove, the house he bought. There were stories about how he loved, stories about how he gave, how he believed in people when no one else did. It's a spiritual moment. I left that night and I went and I sat in the car, and before I turned the keys to the ignition, this thought came to my mind. What will they say when I reach the end? Because rest assured, there will come a day where people gather in your name and they gather in my name and they tell stories about us, maybe in our presence, maybe after we're gone. What will they say? I hope beyond religion, beyond anything else, when they speak of you and me, they say, I saw Jesus alive inside that person. You should have seen the way he loved his wife. You should have seen the way she looked after the poor and the needy and the widows and the orphans, the way they gave when it didn't make sense. They would give you the shirt off their back. But they look at us, and maybe they say, I don't even understand who Jesus is. But that right there, that person, they are the greatest proof of God's love that I've ever seen.
Don't have love, I will
waste my breath with every song I bring. An empty voice, a hollow noise. And if I speak with a silver tongue, converse a crowd, but don't have the love I leave. A bitter taste with every word I say. So let my life be the proof of your love. Let my love look like you and what you're made of. How you lived, how you died, love is sacrifice. So let my life be the proof of your love. If I give to a needy soul who don't have love, then who is for it sings. All the poverty is found in me. So let my life be the proof of your love. Let my love look like you and what you're made of. How you lived, how you died, love is sacrifice. So let my life be the proof of your love. When it's all said and done, when we sing our final song, only love remains. Only love remains.
And if I speak with human eloquence and angelic ecstasy, but don't love, I'm nothing but the creaking of a rusty gate. And if I speak God's word with power, revealing all of his mysteries and making everything as plain as day, and if I have faith to say to a mountain, jump, and it jumps, but I don't love, I'm nothing. And if I give all I own to the poor, or even go to the stake to be burned as a martyr, but I don't love, I've got nowhere. So, no matter what we say, no matter what we believe, no matter what we do, we're bankrupt without love. Without love. Without love.
So let my life be the proof of your love. Let me hear you sing. Let my love look like you and what you made.